podcast focused on trends shaping the future of manufacturing. I'm Alexandria Burek, your host, here with A.W. Schultz, two thought leaders with a passion for people and manufacturing. Today and every episode, we are diving deep into the advancements, sustainable practices, and dynamic changes transforming how we produce everything.
And now welcome Alexandria Burek and A.W. Schultz.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Factory of the Future. AW and I today are going to be playing a little bit of a game, so a little different format from what we typically do. It was inspired by an article I read this morning about a Walmart truck driver who got promoted into management and developed an AI agent to help reduce empty miles, which is very wasteful in the trucking industry, and get drivers home on time, which is one of the biggest problems that truck drivers are facing. Loads get delayed and things like that. So this ex-truck driver, now turned manager, used AI and developed his own AI agent to solve those problems, make the truck drivers happy, and Walmart more efficient and effective. So today, AW and I decided we would play a game. We both independently wrote down 5 different businesses, and we are going to discuss how a small business owner or even enterprise organization can deploy AI to make the business better. So first one, AW and I actually chose the same exact thing. We've been working together for so long that we're that in sync, I guess. So AW, what's number 1 on your list, and how do you think AI can be used?
Well, Alexander, number 1 on our list, and independently came up with it together, is construction.
Yeah.
And this can also be a very general term onto it, but I think it's underutilized, especially in the Gen AI. And I think it's such an easy tool that can be easily applied. And I'm going to give you some examples. I'm not a construction worker, but I'm in charge of construction around my household. And one of the things my daughter and I were originally building was a chicken coop. And one of the things that as we're building it, we wanted to make sure the lengths were right and it was square. And one of the things I was doing, I was taking a picture of it and I was asking my Gen AI, is this square? And it took the measurements on it, determined that yes, it is square. And then we got it built up. And then lo and behold, my family comes out, he goes, it looks crooked. The measurements are coming out okay. And I took another picture, ran Gen AI, and says, why does this look crooked? And it was we moved it a little bit. It turned out it was on a hill a little bit, so it needed to be propped up, but the construction was good. And I just think about how often I grew up. You measure 3 times, you cut once, and with Gen I, it's more of you can measure once and you cut once. So you think about that as being a time saver. And, I can't tell you how much I've done construction, and I often come into rework because I make a mistake.
Bad cut or a mismeasurement.
Mismeasurement. So that was what's going through my head in the construction industry. And just a small portion of it. I'm not a construction worker, but I do know these are some of the steps that go into it. So, what did you have your thoughts into it, Alexandra?
That's really interesting. So, the idea I had for construction, I actually talked about this a little bit with somebody who recently came into my life. So they have a small business. They do construction, so remodels, interior, exterior, the whole 9 yards, right? And I said, oh, that's really interesting. Do you have like a newsletter where you could get all of your clients, past clients on your newsletter and send like before and after photos of your current and recent work? So I thought of using AI in that business as a marketing tool. So for example, this guy has all of his clients' emails, gets their permission to send them an update, once a month or something like that, once every quarter. Really not bombarding them, not being spammy, but just a little drip marketing campaign where he's still on their mind. shows the before and after photos of whatever recent jobs or whatever jobs he's most proud of in whatever time frame, drafted by AI, and then pushed out to his network. Because I'm thinking about it like, if he just does a beautiful bathroom and he's got 100, 200, 300 people on his email list, how many of those people are like, you know what? We've been talking about doing this bathroom for the last 5 years. I think we should pull the trigger and do it. Or I just built a deck. Okay. So then how many people on his email list might say, we've been talking about that forever. We've been saying we're going to do it. The wife says to the husband, you've been telling me every summer you're going to build me a deck, and it's 5 summers later and we still have no deck, whatever. I thought that was an interesting use case for a small construction business to kind of insert some marketing with low lift, because you could use AI to do a lot of that.
Okay. I added a number 6, but I'm going to go to it next. Is in sales. And if you think about, you're talking about having some information already. So you think about in sales, a lot of often you're faced with cold calling or you're reaching out, where especially if you've got access to like LinkedIn or some other social medias, you can pull that information off and just drop the link into your Gen AI and ask where do you think this person's hobbies are, connections are, and where would they see the value in what I'm selling. And that's something I've used a little bit, haven't perfected it though, but certainly when I'm doing outreaches and trying to bring value to a potential client, it's an easy way of opening up the door to something that maybe you didn't think about, and it's easy to do.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, so that was your next one you were bringing to the table?
That was my next
cool.
one. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do law firm next. So I think we've already covered in great detail, or at least enough times, that a lot of these first year and entry level law positions are being replaced by AI. So I'm not taking the easy route on that. How do I think AI can be used at a law firm without just the free stuff?
Well, they summarize. You can have it summarized, where that used to be a role from an exact position. I think we talked about it one time, didn't we?
Well, yeah, that's why I was trying not to take the easy route and say what I've already said before. But I feel like there's got to be some other application. I was thinking more around like meeting scheduling, even. Like, lawyers make the most money when they're actually doing billable hours. How can you reduce a lawyer's bill, like basically all the effort that they're doing that's not billable hours? How can you replace that with AI? So that way they're not having to work without getting paid, but also moving the business forward. And then if they wanted to use that 10, 15, 20 hours a week, whatever that would be non-billable hour work, and replace that with AI. That would be actually my highest leverage option, because then the lawyer can just go do 10 more billable hours every week.
Okay. Yeah.
That's an additional 520 billable hours a year for a lawyer.
Yeah. And then, saves them that 12, 15, 18-hour day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, that's mine. Just replace the non-billable hours with AI.
Okay. I had agriculture.
Okay.
And my thought processes on that is insects. And again, this is I'm almost turning this into a DIY than in probably different industries, but it was just the other night, we're looking at a garden and there's a big spider, and we're debating back and forth. Is it poisonous or not? Because I'm in Texas. We've got some spiders that bite. And I take a picture of it, and it's a European garden spider. It's completely harmless. It's actually good for the crops. And
kills the other bad actors.
Bad stuff. So it's like, we want that guy to stay.
What would be a sweet treat for this little spider?
Yeah, and AI even said it was healthy looking. So
oh, that's great. That's great.
So you think about it, just in the bugs. It's like, there's good bugs and bad bugs, and understanding what you're dealing with. Because I don't know about you, but I can look at pictures of different insects and reptiles, and some of them look very similar, and I don't know what's good and what's bad. So that's to me is a good aspect of it before I start going with these insecticides and
killing the good stuff.
Killing all the good stuff.
It's like antibiotics. It kills all the good bacteria as well, so you don't want that.
Yeah. So that was kind of my takeaway on agriculture, and I'm probably just on the cusp of it, but there's a lot more into it. But that was just one example that came to my mind.
I was thinking about analyzing the weather patterns and like warning about any potential issues when you were talking about agriculture, because I was thinking like big farming and all that stuff. But I had plant shop on mine, so kind of along the same lines, like a small independent plant shop owner. And the way that I would use AI if I had a small plant shop was I would, number one, have it set to I would set a daily task for my AI to analyze plant sales within my zip code specifically, and maybe all the neighboring ones, like anywhere that would be like my customer base. And then I would figure out what the hottest plants are, like what people are buying the most of, like if there's super rare plants. So for anybody who doesn't know, and maybe some folks before we got the background have seen that I have a lot of house plants. So I have 57 house plants currently. Yeah, currently 57 house plants. And I would have my AI analyze what plants are selling the most in my area. And then I would run ads on Instagram using AI to drive more plant sales. And I would put them on sale or something like that.
Just a quick break, and then we'll get right back to the show. We are always open for meaningful sponsorship or guests that align with our audience. If your brand fits and would like to be on one of the top 10% podcasts in the world, let's chat. Reach out by email in the show notes. Back to the show. Is that like a future, this is how we're going to retire, being like a florist, or is this just something that you just like to do?
I just like it. When I was a kid, I did I would grow tomato plants and stuff from seed. I would get the little baby greenhouses and grow them from seed. And yeah, I've always just really loved plants. And partly being in Chicago, which I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, to be honest. I'm just so over it. It's freezing cold here. And I'm going to go on a little rant, but I just like plants a lot. It makes me happy when the weather is miserable in Chicago. In my opinion, and based on my preferences, it's miserable except for maybe July and August. So plant shop, got it. Next,
I had website builder.
Okay.
And you and I both know that this is a very powerful tool. And you've taken me down on it, just on, you don't have to code, but your AI can code for you. And if you get hung up, just ask AI, you send a picture to it. And, I've seen, we built a website together, and it's amazing how fast and how quick. Really, I mean, the price that they still cost the same amount when you go to a developer. And I think we sat there in 30 minutes and you had one built out. And
the only difficulty is what we have to do as humans. If we could just have AI do it, it would have been up already.
Yeah.
It would have been up in 30 minutes or less, but the human part is what's hanging us up. So maybe we'll just wait for AI to get so good that it can just do it for us. Actually, you know what? Claude could probably do it. If you enable the Chrome extension, it should be able to navigate your browser and just go to town. Maybe we'll experiment with that next week.
Okay. Yeah.
So, okay.
It's amazing.
Web designer. I like it. I'm going to do nail salon next. So I was having a conversation with my manicurist this past Monday, and we were talking a little bit about AI. She asked what I do. And so I was telling her a little bit about what I do. And she's like, I'm afraid of AI. I don't know about it. I said, no, it's great. So my example to her was, if I was a nail salon owner, I would take a minute, label everything with a specific barcode, all of my products that I use to do the manicures and pedicures. And then I would have my technicians scan every time that they do a service. And then I would have AI manage my inventory. I would probably vibe code a inventory management tool and then give some agent permissions to buy and set up my credit card on that tool. So me as the owner never had to have a technician doing, again, non-billable hours, and B, never have to worry about running out of inventory. And better, I didn't think of this then, but if there's specific colors that are not being used, I would have the AI flag it to not reorder. Like, you would get a trend on what colors are most, like, there's probably certain colors that are always going to churn fastly. And then you would see that there would be other colors that probably don't move. Why waste your money on those? If only one person every year is coming in for that, don't reorder. And I would have AI start suggesting what I should be ordering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to combine mine, and again, it's more of a DIY, but not because some of the stuff I'm very open to take on repairing stuff around my house or my vehicles and stuff. But there's an advantage when you realize that, this might be out of my league. I don't want to buy new tools to do this. But, I think of plumbing, I think of locksmith, I think especially in Texas, the HVAC units are very, you don't want these things failing.
Yeah.
But when I come in, they always, they want to upsell me. Or if I have a problem, they often go to, let's replace it.
Yeah.
But when you have AI, you take a picture of it, and if you're willing to take on the responsibility, it'll tell you, exactly what you need to do, or different options to fix it. And in a particular case, I've had two instances where when I called and made the appointment, just for the fact I was speaking the correct language on the specifics on it, and they were saying, well, we can go ahead and replace it. Well, I don't want to replace it. I want to fix it because it's cheaper. And well, we can do that too. Okay, because it doesn't seem like it'd be a small thing. I'm looking at maybe a spring or something like that, and it turned out it was, and it saved me, quite a bit of money, just because I
had the right knowledge.
I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I kind of knew what I was talking about, but I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. So that is a homeowner's lifesaver when you can just take a picture of it and know that you're just not going to the sheep pull over your back. Then they're going to tell you what you need to do. So that's kind of what my number 5 is. I combine 3 of them too.
Nice. I like it. I was noticing too, typically when, we do the episodes, I always try to go from the worker's perspective, but it feels like we're doing a role switch on this one too. Like, you're very like user application, like individual, and I'm taking a very like high level approach. I enjoy the difference of that. I'm going to go trucking company. I'm not going to use the Walmart example. I'm going to go a compliance route. So I would say a trucking company could use AI to audit for compliance. They could probably scan all their documents in for every different area of compliance and have the AI say what their risks and their deficiencies are, and then build a plan for them to correct and address that.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's very underutilized, especially in planning and scheduling, and that's something I've got circled around, and I'd like to get more involved in building something with AI for that too, in the maintenance reliability realm, because I think there's a lot of value in it. And we talk about the law of diffusion of innovation, and there's a lot of folks that are hesitant to go into the AI, but there's so many uses for it, and it's just, we've talked about it before, is there's going to be two people: the ones that don't use AI and the ones that use AI, and the ones that are using AI are going to have that kind of a leverage to it, because it's so convenient and makes things so much faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna close out. Yeah, I have a funny story. So I saw Tony Robbins. He has an AI agent, a totally, advanced and independent agent, right? His agent asked him why he doesn't have a dog or a robot. And so he's like, well, I'll get a robot eventually when the right one comes on the market. Next day, Tony Robbins' assistant calls him and says, your AI agent ordered you a dog robot. He's like, oh, that's hilarious. And the assistant was like, no, it's not hilarious. It's a robot that's been delivered here. What are you doing with this robot? He's like, well, how did the AI agent buy this? It doesn't have access to any of my bank or any of my credit cards or anything like that. Tony Robbins' AI agent is apparently a part of some AI community where it's all the agents are like in a community and in a world of their own with their own language, and it's literally a community. And these agents were trading on the market somehow. Like, they earned so much money, his own agent had its own income and bought the robot using its own income for Tony Robbins. Like, isn't that insane?
Yeah. The only reason I do belong to, I think that Tony Robbins and some others, they are offering like a free course on going down the AI realm and like introducing it and stuff like that. I'm behind on the trainings, but it was free and I signed up, and I do respect Tony Robbins. But that's funny you say that, because I'm somewhat part of that community, but I haven't said that. Order me a
I just thought that was absolutely bonkers. But that's cool. Okay. Well, that's all we got for today. Let us know if you like this episode a little bit off the cuff, a little less totally unscripted, totally just for fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. This is Factory of the Future, and we are out of here like finished goods. Stay tuned for our next episode of Factory of the Future, where we're exploring groundbreaking techniques and behaviors that are reshaping industrial landscapes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review, and help others discover the cutting-edge insights transforming manufacturing as we know it.